dismantling the gun ban as we do every 4 years. The talking points never change. Liberals are like trying to get smart on Twitter, talking about, well, how come you guys always use the same old tired-ass argument with the same old tired-ass statistics? Like, well, because you keep doing the same narrative over and over. Only sensible thing to do. We destroy them every 4 fucking years.
Right.
And they don't come up with anything creative. They don't mind Ukrainian 18-year-olds being armed to fight an invading country. You know, I mean, that's perfectly fine. But who's going to arm us up, you know, when they come and do that? It's already been said that the only reason why the United States doesn't get invaded, I can't get the shit out, by ground forces is because behind every blade of grass there is a gun.
Well, especially down here in the South.
Yeah, good luck with that. They'll have way too many frickin' lemons out there just begging to have their firearms confiscated, which makes no sense at all. What logical person who owns firearms will say, yeah, if I turn my firearm in, that eliminates one child death. Well, that may be true if you had planned on going and shooting up a school, but they act like these things are mobile, you know, they have a mind of their own. Anyway, so that's what we're talking about again, destroying the leftist narrative over and over again. David Hogg, he's back. You remember that kid?
I don't, nuh-uh.
Yeah, he was one of the supposed survivors of Parkland. He was a guy that jumped on the bicycle and pedaled 3 miles and managed to evade the police line and get in and all that. He
just wanted to be a reporter.
Yeah, he just wanted to be a reporter, make his dad proud. I don't understand that. Like, what parent would say, where are you going, David? I'm going to the school that's being shot up right now with my camera phone so that I can report it. Go ahead, son. Make me proud. Who the fuck? My mom would have been like, no, you ain't. You staying right here.
Randomly, what I'm reading here, so it looks like Elon Musk also said that neither ex-President Donald Trump nor Joe Biden was good candidates for the presidential election. He also promised a big surprise for the midterm elections in November 2022.
Who promised what?
Elon Musk for president.
What, is he going to run?
I don't know. I mean, would you be surprised? Does he have the qualification?
He's pretty smart. I mean, I give him that, but I don't trust the man fully. I mean, he's a supporter of Neuralink, which is the implant factory company he's wanting to put implants on people's brains.
Mm-hmm.
People forget that shit.
Yeah, cell phones and ads and all. Can you imagine a Facebook ad that pops up on your Facebook in your head? Like, oh, you recently searched for some shoes. Boom.
Dude, I think that would just drive people insane.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if that removed any independent thought from your brain, because it's all going to come in here, whether you have your television on or social media or whatever, which is clearly influential. It influences people to buy shit. It influences people to go out and do crazy shit.
But it's just that's brainwash at its finest, if you ask me. I mean, you have a chip in your brain.
Not my fucking brain.
Well, no, but you know.
It's not going to happen anytime soon.
Something that he quoted, I strongly believe that the right to bear arms is an important safeguard against potential tyranny of government. Historically, maintaining their power over the people is why those in power did not allow public ownership of guns. Musk told CNBC on May 25th.
Well, if anything, he would definitely squash the gun narrative. I mean, that would be a good thing. We need some common sense. But people also need to understand, Democrats love this shit. They love when a mass shooting happens. You know they do, because who comes to the scene when there's a mass shooter? Okay, the police show up. They don't do shit half the time. Then you got your local news. They show up. They start reporting on it. Then you got a Democrat, some candidate like Beto, pulling up the soapbox, you know, standing on it and talking about it, you know, before the blood even dries on the pavement. Well, this is what we can do to stop it. All you have to do is vote. It's fucking sick. When you think about it, it's like, can you not think of a better time to politicize an issue?
Democrat or Republican or whatever, if someone decides they want to shoot a bunch of people, they're going to shoot a bunch of people. I don't think that really...
Well, what they don't understand is American consumerism, or consumerism for that matter. When you ban something, you create a prohibition, which also creates a black market. I guess they think these guns are just going to evaporate into thin air.
You know, I'm not looking for the opportunity if Joe revs his engine at me at the red light and, oh, you stupid bastard, I'm in Texas, I'm going to shoot you. You know, I'm not looking for that opportunity, but if someone comes in my house and threatens me or my family and I have the right to shoot them, I will shoot them. That's where I stand with that. Am I going to go out and be stupid with my gun? Absolutely not. But I understand gun safety and all that stuff. You know, a lot of people don't understand
Well, another one of their solutions
gun
is
safety.
they're like, well, what if people had the proper training? The state of Wyoming, they begin their gun training in school at the age of the 6th grade. They said it's not really just gun safety, it's hunting.
Is that current?
Yeah.
Really?
It's a way of life for them. Hunting is a way of life. I think there's more registered deer hunters in Wyoming than...
But the gun safety course in school is current.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all part of it.
Huh.
You know, they
Imagine
teach...
that. Guns in school. No one got hurt.
Yeah. No one had a mass shooting at that school either.
Except for Bambi, you know. But
Yeah. I don't even think Wyoming ranks as the top dangerous places in America to visit in terms of violence or gun violence. I don't know. Maybe you could pull something up, but I don't think it does. I looked at the high crime rate regions of the United States, and every single one of them are ran by Democrats. You know, you got Detroit, you got frickin' California, you got Chicago, Portland, all these places where there's lots of violence. They're all ran by Democrats.
the state's violent crime rate of 217 people per 100,000 people is considerably lower than the national rate of 379 per 100,000. There were 1,258 violent crimes reported to Wyoming law enforcement agencies in 2019. So,
Well,
the 12th lowest crime rate of all states. It is the 8th lowest violent crime rate. Wyoming.
I read somewhere that I think that we ranked 12. I think it was the CDC that said that. I don't know for sure, but I think the CDC said that guns were like the 12th. Biden gets up there and says, for children, the number one cause of death are guns. You know, he's a fucking idiot. And he also gets up there and he says, well, you know, if you went out and bought an electric car, you could drive across the United States on one tank of gas. Yes, he said that. It's all right. I'm so proud to have voted blue no matter who. That's a sick mentality right there, dude. Never mind policy. Never mind the fact that the dude doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. He don't know the difference between rat shit and Rice Krispies.
He doesn't know what he's talking about half the time.
Think he knows he's talking half the time.
No, from the list that I'm looking on the top 59 deaths. Let's see, 18, 19. Suicide by gunshot is 21. I still don't see gun violence.
What, ranks 21? Well, it's all included in
number
gun violence.
21. Well, no, this is like the number 59, the 59 top ways to die in America. And that's still at number, I think it's 36? No? Maybe I passed it. I remember we pulled this up the other night. It was...
Yeah, it's the CDC. It says the Center of Disease Control listed firearms as the number 12 cause of deaths between 1999 and 2015, representing 1.3% of total deaths. They were also the number one method of death by suicide. So, in retrospect, mostly handguns.
Right.
By suicide.
Well, yeah, you can't shoot yourself with an AR-15.
Well, you could try.
Well, maybe in the leg.
Well, Kurt Cobain did it with a shotgun that was like taller than he was. You never know, I guess, until you know. But no, I mean, over 95% of violent gun crimes are where handguns are present. You know, handguns are used in most of the crime. You know, gang-related shootouts rank way higher than school shootings.
Oh, absolutely.
School shootings only tend to happen when the midterms are coming up or it's time for the primaries. That's when school shootings really start to happen. They don't happen, you know, the second after. You know, you would think that I'm so pissed off. I'm so, you know, disenfranchised because my vote didn't count. I voted blue no matter who like they told me to, and then we get Trump. I'm going to go shoot up a church. All this shit happens before midterms so that Democrats have a platform to campaign on. I mean, especially this one, because I can't wait to see the 2024. I cannot wait to see the end result. I want to watch them debate. What are they going to campaign on? That's what I don't understand. They're going to sit up there and they're going to blame the GOP for all of this shit. They're blaming the GOP for gas prices, food shortages. But if Trump were in office when all this shit was happening, They'd be hollering impeachment 24 hours a day, blaming that man for that shit.
Oh, they're still trying to holler impeachment.
God, I don't understand that
been
shit for
how
the life
long?
of me. Trump just terrifies the shit out of them for some reason. I don't know why. It's like, well, I know why, but, I sound like a conspiracy theorist. I don't know. What do you think? You think Dems have a chance in 2024?
I don't know. I mean, with the way the world's going, I don't really know what to think, honestly. I try to, I don't really partake in much political stuff. In my opinion, it's all rigged. I mean, so I don't really know.
The vast majority of Americans believe their vote counts. So when you got a vast majority of Americans that see the current economic situation, see the agenda of disarmament, you have idiots up there saying shit like buy an electric car. All you need is 1 gallon of gas or 1 full tank of gas. It's like, well,
right. But then in the recent election under investigation for fraudulent votes, dead people, mail-in ballots, all this stuff. So does it really count? Does our vote really count? Maybe it's a conspiracy, who knows? But they're saying that Joe Biden faked the election and got fake votes. And Trump was saying that from the get-go, that he was going to do that.
They also discovered that I think it was 49.3% of Joe Biden's Twitter followers were all bots, fake accounts and stuff like that. So why wouldn't they falsify mail-in ballots? I mean, it's too easy to do. That's why they went out of ballot. That's why they stopped using mail-in ballots to begin with.
Right. So does my vote actually count then? That's where I'm at with it.
Well,
I'm still going to vote. Don't get me wrong.
I think it counts,
but I try not to follow that stuff because it's just, I feel like it's all rigged.
It is rigged. I mean, they're all rigged. There's fraud on in every election on both sides. Even in foreign elections that we meddle in, we get involved in foreign elections all the time. People seem to forget that shit. They send in economic hitmen. I mean, Saddam Hussein, he worked for the CIA. And then, well, you're not going to play ball the way we want you to, so here we go.
Shoot you in a hole in the desert.
Right. It's insane to me. The left is consistent with they're very inconsistent for the most part on everything else they want to argue. But it's like they cannot wait for a mass shooting to happen so they have something to talk about. Everything else they talk about is completely irrelevant.
So I should just allow them to come here, take my guns, and then when something, God forbid, potentially bad happens, what am I going to do? Bludgeon somebody to death, or wait, hold on. Okay, I have a kitchen knife.
Yeah, let me petition the court real quick to get my gun rights back. I'll get right back to you. Yeah.
Someone breaks in your house, and most likely that person's going to have a gun if it's illegal or not, because they're breaking into your house. And that's just a sad truth.
Yeah, I was involved in a debate with a person that was trying to explain numbers to me, and this is the same exact person that said that you don't get to decide who is and isn't a minority, you fascist. There are trillions of trans people, and they're an endangered minority. Once you probably love to see genocided into oblivion. Trillions. There are trillions of trans people in America. They were talking about just America right there. And that was just one slide that I say, but I thought that was the most beautiful one because they said, and they are a minority. Trillions of people that don't exist are a minority.
So the definition of endangered, if you guys didn't know, seriously at risk of extinction. There's how many people on the planet? 7 billion?
I think it's close to 7 billion now.
Right. And that's before a trillion, right? It's a billion and then a trillion.
The last I checked. It's been a while since kindergarten math, but,
Hey, if you want to be trans, I have nothing against it, but I can tell you that there's not trillions of them in the United States of America.
There's not billions. There's not millions.
I mean, we have millions of people in the U.S.
I think there's they said that, I think that I read that there was 1.7% of the population identify as trans, but 90% of those grow out of it.
Right.
So it's like, what are we talking about here? It's like, okay, you're talking about a freaking childhood fetish that you eventually grow out of. And typically they grow out of it when they hit puberty, which is why they made puberty blockers, because obviously puberty and hormone changes and all that shit is going to let you know what you are. So there's no like, I can be a woman if I want to, but I just got a massive hairy ball sack all of a sudden. I don't know where it came from. I'm supposed to be a woman. Christ on a cracker. Anyway, so, yeah. I think the solution is not to ban anything, because when you ban something, all you do is you create a black market. The prohibition, the reason why they lifted the prohibition was because crime elements were getting powerful off of it. Eventually, the mob got involved.
Oh yeah, it was absurd.
Like, you started with these little moonshine distilleries, and they were making money hands over fist. They were even supplying the police and politicians.
Oh yeah,
with moonshine.
Absolutely.
During the entire ban.
Hands down.
And then they figured out that, well, shit, this mobster over here, man, just got his hand in it, and he's not going to give us any freaking money. We'll have to go to war with this guy if we want to get money from him. So they lifted it. That's the only reason why. It was unsuccessful from jump. Just a way to control the people. And then they don't seem to understand that they can ban millions and millions and millions of AR-15s, one of the most commonly purchased rifles here in the U.S. They think they're just going to magically disappear when they... No, they're not. They're not going anywhere but on the street. That's where they're going. And you'll be able to get them for a fraction of the cost at retail. Because if I were a gun shop owner and laws, they never go into full effect right then and there.
Right.
It's usually months, even up to a year, sometimes longer. So you're a gun shop owner and you get a letter, whatever, certified letter or some kind of notification, because disclosure is required when they pass any law.
Right.
So they say, okay, so you own a gun shop and half of your inventory are AR-15s, AK-47s. Well, you're not going to be able to sell those as of January 1st of 2024, whatever. So that gives you all the time in the world to liquidate. Unless the government is going to, and I don't think they will, hand you a significant amount of money to buy those weapons from you. And I don't think they're going to do that, because people already fell for the whole $50 gas card thing. I think they have it in Florida, actually.
Was it in Florida?
I think it was. It could have been Cali, but
I read something. I thought about that in like Chicago area, or
they've tried buyback so many times, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's wait until gas prices go through the roof to offer you a $50 gas card that's going to get you up the street.
Yeah, here's a quarter tank of gas. Good luck.
Yeah. I'll buy all your your AR-15s, You get about $8,000 worth of firearm and ammo in there, and you're going to hand it over for a $50 gas card? Then you deserve whatever happens, after that, because stupid, there's no cure for it.
They actually called it the Al Capone. They called it the beer wars in Chicago is what they called it during the Prohibition. He was one of the most famous gangsters during Prohibition, Al Capone. Yeah, he got a big pay cut of that Prohibition, too. He also did a lot of good for the country as well. A lot of people don't talk about that. Yeah, absolutely did, yeah.
But, you hear the name Al Capone and you think gun and you think gangster and you think dead innocent children. That's what they all think.
Right.
It's like I don't understand their ideology. Like, if I've got a whole cabinet full of guns locked up and I feel like I should turn them in, because if I do, that will stop one death. Because their slogan is, one child death is too many. Okay, I agree with it.
Right.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree with it. Yeah, you're right. A senseless act of violence and one child's death is far too many. So why not try to ban them all? They act like you can't walk in with 2 Berettas and just clean house.
You could kill somebody with a .22, a pellet gun. Pellet gun would be harder. But
I think you could kill people with 2 Berettas more effectively and easily than you can with an AR-15 rifle. They're your handguns. You just boom, 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 boom. You don't have to this. You got to unload.
You come in with a crossbow and you could take some people out.
Yeah, well, they don't seem to understand that it's not about saving children. And when they want to push that slogan, it's all about one child death is too many. Okay, fine. So you're telling me I can't go in with a .22 and kill a bunch of kids, point blank? Think about it. From the first time the shot is fired, it takes cops 3 minutes? Average time, 3 minutes response time. By the get there, they have to assess the situation. They don't know what's going on. By the time they finish, there's already dead children.
I think that depends on the size of the city. It's somewhere in like Los Angeles. God forbid, it'd probably take them 30, 45 minutes to respond.
Shit, probably take them 30, 45 minutes to get on the phone with your ass. You're listening to stupid-ass infomercials. Can we help you? Well, you could have. But, it just... I guess it took a Lone Ranger with a shotgun to, get through the police line like it happened at Robb Elementary School. That right there just shoots a hole in all their argument. What you need to do is turn in your firearms and you need to call the police. That's what you need to do. Yeah, for what? So they can sit there and wait until the dude runs out of bullets and, okay, let's go get the bastard. I mean, what the hell? I mean, that's not going to do any good. If you ask me, if you disarm yourself at the behest of any government, then whatever. I mean, there's nothing anybody can do for you. You're just dumber than a box of shit. Well, you got to listen to these talking points all the time because that's all they have. Call the police. Well, we see what happens when you do that.
Right.
Nothing. Nothing gets accomplished. Kids are still dead. Cops are still standing around and still asking questions. Plus that SCOTUS ruling. I can't remember which one that was. Do you remember?
Which one was it?
It was the SCOTUS ruling. Let me see if I can pull that up. I know I have it here. Yeah. Let's see. The Supreme Court ruled on Monday. Now, I don't know. It just says June 27th, but I know it wasn't this year. It was probably a couple years ago, I think. Anyway, the Supreme Court ruled on Monday that the police did not have a constitutional duty to protect a person from harm, even a woman who had obtained a court-issued protective order against a violent husband, making an arrest mandatory for a violation. So the police are not obligated to do anything to put themselves at risk.
Right.
So in the situation, they happened at Parkland. I think there were two officers that stood down. I mean, they didn't even try. They went up to the door, they heard the shots, and they just panicked and didn't do shit, right? Why do we want to call the police? Now, this is where I actually agree with the left. Defund the police. Okay, I'm with you on that. I think we should defund them, the black and whites, not the elected officials, because number one, if you're a sheriff, you're elected to be sheriff.
Right.
And then he appoints who his deputies are. He'll never see the light of day in terms of re-election if he stood around while these kids are getting slaughtered. Now, the black and whites, on the other hand, all they do is patrol, and they're Dudley do-right. Yeah, well, you're actually 3 meters over the fucking, and then write you a $200 ticket, pull you over for no reason, pull you over because you're walking down the street. These people don't do anything to help the community at all. It's all about revenue for the city that they work in or work for, because they sure as hell don't work for us. I mean, so I can actually agree with the left when they say defund the police. Yeah, defund the black and whites, the metro assholes.
Right.
Don't need them. In a moment where seconds count, I don't know why you'd want to wait 5 minutes anyway. You know? How long does it take for a bullet to be discharged and enter your skull? Fraction of a second? You're going to wait 5 minutes for them to show up to explain it while you got a hole in your head? It's like, well, the fucker shot at me. You want to go get him? I was going to shoot back, but he probably went to the next house. Who the fuck knows? I mean, you can't argue logic with these people. It makes no sense. Half the shit they say doesn't make any sense. You know, there's trillions of people on this planet, you know. Trillions of people on this planet.
No, in this country.
Yeah, in this country. God damn it, there's trillions of people's lives at stake here. Got to figure something out. I don't know.
Trying to find that article that I had. I think I might have sent it to you where it was the Second Amendment. It said you had the right to bear arms against, what was it, the government and the system?
The Second Amendment was there to protect us in case of a tyrannical government forms. The right to bear arms.
Right.
Which they don't understand. They think there is a difference between firearms and arms in general. And this is what they say. Oh. Well, the AR-15 wasn't there when the Constitution was written. So we're supposed to use muskets and cannons then against modern technology. Is that what?
To allow the creation of civilian forces that can counteract a tyrannical?
Tyrannical, yeah.
Tyrannical federal government.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the person right now, or people rather, that want to take our guns from us.
Right.
Yeah.
The same people that say, hey, I agree with the Constitution. I agree with the Second Amendment. You just can't utilize it. It's not yours. Okay, well,
in that, like the founding fathers of America fought against what they're trying to create America, like what they're trying to make America now.
Yeah.
They fought against that stuff.
Yeah.
Communism, taking our rights away, making us get vaccination, all these things that are mandatory now.
Pull your mic up a little closer, buddy. Yeah, there you go. I think you're registering. Kind of low there. Okay, anyway.
Good? Yeah, better?
Yeah, now you're on the clock.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, the whole idea that I don't know. They think for some reason the Second Amendment only applies to the government, and some even say that the government was the one that wrote the Second Amendment. No. The government. There was no government when the Second Amendment was written. It was militia. It was citizens taking up arms against the tyrannical British.
Right.
Because they thought they were stupid enough. Well, here's some tea. You can bring me a fucking 18-pack. I'm not giving you no firearm. I mean, that's what they fled from to begin with.
Exactly.
So they're going to come over here. They're going to follow us like the frickin' cockroaches that they are. And they're going to get in the government, and they're going to start manipulating the masses. And now you got dumbasses like the frickin' left. Well, I agree with the Second Amendment, but you don't need an AR-15. Why do you need an AR-15?
What's the obsession with AR-15s?
Because every single time there's a school shooting, apparently, an AR is used. Even though they're used in a fraction of overall gun violence, it's handguns most of the time. Handguns and shotguns are used more than AR-15s.
Absolutely.
So that's what they do. I mean, wherever the media points them. And like if you take like a Remington 223, same caliber, same magazine capacity, semi-automatic.
Semi-auto, right.
Everything about it operates the same way as an AR. If that was used...
It just looks like a hunting rifle rather than a tactical, which AR-15s aren't tactical. But
they're sporting rifles.
Right, yeah.
And so you have, like, the scary-looking one. That's not going to stop. I mean, you can ban it all you want to. Go ahead, ban the motherfucker. I don't care. Ban it.
So how is banning one gun...
It's not. They know it's
anything?
not.
Right, but that's a question. You know, like, let's ban the AR-15. Okay, well, I own a 40 caliber handgun. It's a 16 round clip, one in the chamber, 17 shots for a 40 cal.
That's too many. You're not supposed to have that.
So a 40 caliber is okay, but an AR-15 isn't. So like, you know.
Well, I can tell you exactly how it'll play out. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, okay, they were successful in banning the AR-15 and the AK-47, like Beto, for all those Beto males out there. You sitting up in Starbucks complaining about capitalism while you're sucking from a latte, your penis-shaped straws.
Well, they're biodegradable now. You can hardly even drink out of the damn thing.
Oh, so they were successful at taking our straws.
At least Starbucks is compliant to it, yeah.
Well, they're commies anyway, so fuck them.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's say they are successful, okay? They're no more. They evaporated into thin air. They're gone.
Right.
Then you get some dickhead that lives with his mom, 23 years old, only works a part-time job.
Cheeto crumbs on his white tee.
Yeah. Plays shoot-'em-up games all day and then watches the movie Machete and says, you know what, I'm going to take these two machetes up and I'm just going to start hacking children's heads off.
Wasn't that the debate after the Columbine shooting? They were trying to ban violent shooting games. Was that... I was very young when it happened, but wasn't that part of the... They were saying that they played a bunch of shoot-'em games and then that's what caused them to shoot the kids. Is that correct, or am I thinking of something else?
I know it was definitely brought up. It was definitely brought up about influences.
Right.
You know, they were talking about influence.
Brainwash and all that stuff.
Yeah. But what was interesting about that is, like, you know, federal prisons, you know, they have gaming systems and stuff like that for rec time. They have all kinds of stuff in federal prison.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's federal prison. Yeah, absolutely.
But they wouldn't allow games like that. Anything violent. They wouldn't allow that in federal prison because that's for our children, not for the fucking... It's nothing these people do make any sense at all. Which leads me to believe they're not serious. They're just grandstanding and politicizing on it. They're only seeking votes. They're not seeking to make any changes because everything they're proposing, it's not going to withstand.
Right.
No, it's not going to go through the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will shoot it down quicker than hell. It might get tossed around between the House and the Senate a few times, but nothing overall is going to get done about it. You're not going to ban anything. Ban it. People say, well, Clinton banned them in 93, 91?
Oh, I'd have been
92?
2 years old then, 2 or 3, so I'm not entirely sure.
I can't remember. Don't hold me to the number, but they said that Clinton did a ban on assault rifles, which he didn't because there's no assault rifles, and the AR is not an assault rifle. All he did was he halted the production. I think it was a decade long where they weren't for sale.
Right.
But here's the problem. They're already out there. People already owned them. They're still in the streets, and you could get them off the street. So I don't understand. Because they didn't hone in on a mass shooting that happened to happen, it didn't happen, right? Like, mass shootings happen every single day. And like I said, vast majority of them are carried out with handguns, not ARs. You don't see gangbangers shooting ARs at the car at a little 3-year-old girl. They're all using handguns and other types of various weaponry out there. which also includes all semi-automatics. I don't see anybody with a 410 single shot. Boom, boom. I mean,
Hold on, wait a minute.
yeah, hold on.
Loading.
I forgot my other bag. I'll be right back. Well, it's some, but see, that still shoots a hole in their whole one child death is too many argument. Because you can kill even with a single shot.
If somebody decides that they want to kill somebody, gun, knife, strangulation, it doesn't matter how they're going to do it. They're going to do it. That's
Very
just
true.
an unfortunate fact. I mean,
Very unfortunate fact, but it is what it is. I mean, what's the agenda? Behind every blade of grass there is a gun, and that right there has been recited over and over. But I think the Chinese government said that would be a catastrophic mistake invading the United States because everybody's got a fucking gun there.
yeah, right.
So let's disarm them. Let's figure out a way. Let's get them emotional, which is why Democrats cannot wait for that shit to happen. They don't have enough decency to let people mourn before they get up there and start grandstanding and making it out to be the law-abiding citizens' fault. It's our fault.
Right.
We don't want to give up our firearms. It's all our fault. They said that every person who owns an AR-15 now has blood on their hands. Shit. Damn, I for some reason, I don't feel guilty at all. I mean, I don't even have an AR in my house.
Right.
But I'm supposed to feel guilty because I'm a gun supporter. I support the NRA. I support the Second Amendment. It's the most important one we have besides free speech.
Absolutely.
Free speech and the right to defend yourself are the two main important ones out of all of them. Because if you eliminate free speech, then you eliminate dialogue. If you like when they were banning all conservatives, they were banning everybody that supported Trump. Hell, they kicked Trump off social media. Who the hell's done that? Like what other president in history has been kicked off a platform?
I think Elon Musk has allowed him to restart his Twitter account.
God, I would love to see that.
I think I read something about that. Let's see if I can pull it up.
But if I were Trump, I wouldn't run for president again, and I damn sure wouldn't get on Twitter again. I wouldn't do anything again. I would just suck it up and be like, you know what? You ungrateful bastards. I'm going to let you see how bad shit can get when you let commies run your country. That's what I think ought to happen. It's going to be, I'll survive. I'm not worried about it. Shit. I know how to hunt. I know how to fish.
Yeah, on May 11th, right before Elon Musk bought Twitter, he said Elon Musk will reverse Donald Trump's Twitter ban. He said that he would do that if he was successful in buying Twitter. In January 2021, Twitter said Mr. Trump's account was permanently suspended. And it looks like Mr. Musk said he had spoken to the Twitter's co-founder, Jack Dorsey, on the subject of locking users out of their social media accounts in response to offensive tweets. Donald Trump actually decreased the amounts of polarization. I'm trying to see where it says if he actually did it, though.
So he didn't, buy Twitter? Thought he already did.
This was right before he bought Twitter.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, yeah, because I saw something else that was on Twitter the other day about...
But he was saying if he was successful in buying Twitter, he would reverse Donald Trump's ban from the platform, is what he was saying. And I'm just trying to find out if he actually did that or not.
Should have banned Joe Biden.
And what good would it do? He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about anyways.
I know. I don't think that dude he probably doesn't even know what the hell Twitter is. But, we're supposed to listen to a party of no common sense and let's point the finger and ban shit. It's really all the Democrats are. Really, in retrospect, what did they do? Well, what have they done? They don't like borders. Well,
they want us to have vaccination cards everywhere we go. They want to take our weapons. And so what is this, World War II again?
Yeah, it looks like we're leaning that way. While simultaneously calling us Hitler, or Nazis and shit like that. They compared Trump to Hitler. They really did. They compared Trump to Hitler. Then he's the next Hitler. So you want to hand over your firearm now? Because that's the first thing Hitler did.
Right.
Take their guns.
Well, and they had, I don't know if they had vaccination cards, but they obviously had the ones, Jewish, Polish, all the different.
Yeah.
Identification cards, I suppose you could say.
Yeah, they were all government issued. That was so everyone knew who you were, and if you were on the enemy list, you gone.
Yeah. No thanks.
We're going to go bake a Cyclone bee cake. You want to go? Fuck, dude. Anyway, we're just witnessing history repeat itself every single day, and it floors me that people don't see it.
A big thing no one talks about either is that, youth in poor areas are more likely to die from gang-related death violence in poor areas, but you never hear about that happening in these rich areas. So what's the difference? Is that a form of population control? Like, let's flood these poor areas with immigrants that are now flooding over the border, which, that's okay, but we can't have an AR-15.
Right.
And I guarantee you all these people have guns. They don't talk about the fentanyl overdose, how many people are dying from that, which is way more than guns right now.
Well, yeah. They're in on it.
And they're filling in these poverty or impoverished communities with all these immigrants that have weapons and drugs and violence and gangs, and people are dying from that left and right, but no one wants to talk about that, right? Because most of those cities are democratically ran.
Yeah, they're all democratically ran.
And no one wants to talk about those statistics.
Well, and there's also a huge similarity in mass shootings that they all seem to come from broken homes and poor backgrounds as well. So,
I grew up with all of that, and I have never thought, you know what I want to do? I want to go shoot a child.
Yeah.
I've never thought that, nor will I ever. That baffles me. That thought would baffle me.
Well, that's the way that's their marketing right now. Everybody who owns an AR-15 has blood on their hands. Everybody who's a gun enthusiast has blood on their hands. Anybody who supports the NRA has blood on their hands. You could be a military veteran, and what gets me is they actually have some of these veterans out there. They can't be real. They cannot be real. Comparing the M16, saying the M16 and the AR-15 are identical. Really? Then how come they don't use the AR-15?
Is that even the same caliber?
I mean, you could upgrade the caliber, but no.
But initially, it's not the same.
Well, I
don't know much about the two. That's why I'm asking.
Now, I had read something a while back. Now, this was something that was brought up on Twitter not too long ago. They were talking about the AR-15 when it was first built.
Right.
It had selective fire on it, which still didn't have the same caliber, but it had selective fire, and that's what made it almost identical to the M16. But they don't understand that it was a cosmetic thing. It had nothing to do with outperforming or even equally performing to the M16. It had everything to do with looking like one.
Okay.
And they're cool. People like them because they look cool, and they use them. You could ban them. They're not going to stop anything. You're not going to stop anything. In fact, you're just going to put more guns into the wrong hands is all you're going to do, but especially with these people out there that own guns that believe that blood on their hands bullshit.
Right.
Let's just run right down to the registry and give it up. Okay, well, you can do that if you want to, but I guarantee you're on that registry, and you're probably going to be the first house they go to.
Jesus.
You have your vaccine? No, come with us, please.
Can we look in your gun safe?
Do you still have any guns in the premises? I was like, no. I buried them in the backyard just to send them on a fucking mission. I don't see no guns back here. Yeah, I know, you dumbass. Did you actually think I was going to tell you even if I had one?
No shit, right. When was the last time that any government facility or any place with any sufficient amount of money, like a bank, that when there was a mass shooting at a bank, or what else would you say?
Extremely rare situations.
Anywhere that the government actually has control of. And if it were to happen, how fast would that person be shot?
Oh.
The robber, right?
Oh, the robber?
Yeah, right.
Oh, psh.
Shot on the spot, right?
Yeah, if you weren't shot on the spot, you're not leaving that building.
Yeah, those cops weren't worried about the robber.
No.
In the,
They have interest. Like all these celebrities.
They want to get scared when there's a school shooting. I don't know about you, but what was it? The guy's husband was getting his hair cut at the Uvalde shooting. Mm-hmm. In the middle of his haircut, left, grabbed the barber's shotgun, and himself went in and shot the guy.
Yeah.
And the cops just stood there.
Yeah.
If that were a bank, he wouldn't have made it into the bank, and the people would have already been dead, if not arrested.
I think there was another attempted mass shooting in Georgia. I think there was. I read it in the Federalist, but he didn't count on the police actually doing their job, and he didn't count on that door being locked.
Yeah,
so
well, Georgia is...
He got dealt with.
Yeah.
Before he could... But see, that's how you stop it. It's called a precedence. And these mass shooters, what they're doing. They're only, it's called a copycat, and that's actually a legal term in criminal law. Everybody knows that when somebody goes and shoots up a school and they're either killed, which kind of half and half. A lot of them get caught, when they, he's going to run out of ammo eventually. What he does, then we'll go get him. Then they go and get the guy. Well, the next person is going to want to outdo and get a larger body count. So it's setting a precedence. That's why I believe the AR-15 is used so much. That, and they really want to hone in on it when they are, because that's their agenda, is to disarm the domestic population.
Right, but if the left is aiming to disarm civilians, they're only taking one gun away.
Well, that
makes no sense.
Because that's not what they're doing.
I don't agree with it, but that's a dumb idea to me. If you're like, oh, we're going to take one gun away from you, and that's going to end gun violence.
Yeah, there were, after SH, I'm not going to say the name of the school, SH, you know which one I'm talking about?
I don't, but.
Okay. You know, the Sandy Hook.
Oh, okay.
The politicians were grandstanding, and they were saying, we just want to take your semi-autos. You can have all your other firearms. We just want the semi-autos. Well, that constitutes, over 95% of guns that are on the market today.
Really?
Other than that, you have single shots, and they may include revolvers with it, because you could still just. I mean.
Oh, so it's not actually AR-15 ban; it's a semi-automatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you listen and you look at their proposals.
That makes more sense than just an AR-15.
Well, the AR-15 is the model. It's the model that they're going after, because semi-automatics fall under that category. So they're wanting to take all semi-autos, and they're not going to be able to achieve it, because they may successfully ban the AR-15, but then someone's going to go in with a deer rifle. Well,
yeah, or crossbow. I mean,
we tried
a slingshot. You could, if you hit someone in the head, you could kill them.
Oh yeah, marble and a slingshot. Almost killed my brother that way.
Yep.
That motherfucker was speaking a different language for about 10 minutes.
I believe that.
The things you do when you're kids.
No shit.
And the things you do when you act and think like children, like these idiots up there. Take their guns. That's going to solve everything. What are they going to do when gun violence explode? Which it most certainly will, because, again, when you create a prohibition, all the wrong people get involved. And then the police aren't going to do shit, because they're going to be really outgunned by the criminals now.
Well, maybe they want a recession and a prohibition. Maybe that's what they want.
Well, it seems to line up with historical events.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the Great Depression, you had Prohibition. I mean, we're already in depression. Like,
I mean, it's probably $125 to fill up my truck. And here's something funny. Have you gotten gas recently? I know you don't drive much, but have you gotten gas at the gas station recently?
I have.
Could you smell the gas?
I didn't even think about that detail.
Could you smell it? I remember every time I go to the gas station, you can smell the gas. You can smell the fumes. The other day I was getting gas, and I was just like, I don't smell nothing. I don't smell gas fumes.
Maybe you got that COVID.
No, I don't know. It seems, and maybe I'm wrong, but I maintain my truck. I get the oil changed. I do all the procedures that need to be done to make sure I get optimal gas mileage. And it seems like now I'm getting less gas mileage than I was before, even with a full tank.
Was it lower octane, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe. I just don't think that it's, maybe it's watered down. I don't know.
It's either watered down,
but then they're charging here in Texas, in Abilene, Texas. It's what, $4.65 a gallon right now at HEB?
Yeah.
$4.65 a gallon.
It was $4.39 2 days ago.
Exactly.
And they may be going lower octane. They may be doing that. I mean, I didn't even notice it.
Think about it, though.
I never do. It's something to think about.
I was just like, man, this is it. It doesn't smell like gas anymore. Like, what's going on here? What are they doing? What are they ripping us off? Or, and I thought that at a couple gas stations. It wasn't just the HEB gas station, because people would say, oh, maybe it's watered down or it's set there or whatever, and all that's bullshit.
Well, maybe they were just like, which probably would explain why gas is different prices pretty much everywhere you go. Like, if you go to the north side, gas is higher in some places. And you go and it's lower, and then it's higher over here than it is there, and lower over there than it is over here. And it's just, maybe it has something to do with the octane levels.
Maybe.
Or because, if it's
either way, you can't afford it now. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can't afford it. And
the groceries are outrageous right now, and we're in Texas.
Go blue. No matter who.
I read somewhere that I saw it on the news somewhere over in California right now. Gas is damn near $10 a gallon. $10 a gallon.
Yeah, that's $5 worth of gas to trade in for all your firearms.
Now, what does that do to the diesel prices for all the diesel trucks that are bringing in all of our stuff?
Diesel prices are over $5 a gallon right now.
Well, if it's $10 a gallon for unleaded in California, then what are the diesel prices looking like? There's a lot of ports in California, in case you didn't know that.
Yeah, of course there is. A lot of ports in Texas too.
Well, yeah, absolutely, but
it, Do you remember the diesel strike where I think it was in 2009?
I do remember that. Yeah.
Or they said if you don't lower
Was it
the
in
price,
Canada?
I'm not sure. I don't remember where it was. I think
There
it was.
one in Canada that happened recently.
I think recently, yeah, but this was in America. This is what they were talking about. If they don't lower the diesel prices, we're going to park our trucks and we're not moving.
Yeah, weren't they on? Were they on I-10 or?
Shit, I don't even remember.
They were parked along an interstate.
Oh yeah, all over the place. Yeah, they've just all right. We're done. Lower the gas price, lower the diesel prices, and then we'll get back on the road and start delivering goods and services like to keep the economy going and keep people alive and healthy.
Well, that'll fit right into a recession if you ask me. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but
Well, they did lower those prices though.
wait, well, they had to.
So that tells me that it's all gouging. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it's not for the most part. But how can you have? I mean, if it's not octane levels, depending on how many dollars and cents per gallon, then what is it? I mean, is it just like this person like cigarettes? For example, cigarettes. I go to United to buy a pack of Pall Malls. It's damn near $9 a pack. I go to 7-Eleven, which is right next to United, and it's like $6 something a pack. So it's like different. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's all a big scam that's going on, and they're doing it under the watch of an incompetent, old, demented, child-sniffing fool that doesn't know what he's doing, where he's at, and the Democrats are loving it. Actually, the Democrats are actually turning on Joe right now.
I was under the impression you couldn't have dementia and be a president.
I was under the impression that you couldn't sniff children and be president, but, I mean, here we are. I mean, I always said this is the cure right here. You remember when they showed that video op after Biden got elected? They had all those executive orders stacked on the desk, and they were just passing them like a conveyor belt.
Yeah, and
he
there
was
was no signature on them or something, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, there was a theory that that the things were blank. The executive orders were just blank.
Right.
They didn't have anything, but it's like every president that signs an executive order signs it and holds it up for everybody to see that he acknowledged what the executive order is and he proved it, signed it. Biden, it was like conveyor belts. It was like, if it was real, how reckless is that?
He's a puppet. Plain and simple.
Well, for sure, he's a puppet. They said Trump was the puppet.
Yeah.
Trump is Putin's puppet. Yeah, that's why Putin waited until Trump was gone before he made his move to the Ukraine, because he wouldn't have done that shit under Trump.
No, absolutely not.
Dude, Trump had the whole world in check. He had China in check, North Korea in check, Russia was in check. Everybody was in check. There was also no wars. There was also low taxes. There was record low inflation, record low unemployment. List goes on. We had secure borders.
Gas was, hell, I remember at one point it was like $1.59 a gallon.
Yeah, I almost thought it was going to go below a buck in some cases.
I haven't seen that. When I was a kid. I remember it being 99 cents. And that was in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck. We'll never see that shit again.
Yeah, no shit. Elon Musk for president, though, huh?
I don't know, man. You know what'd be awesome? And Teslas are awesome cars, man. Like, I don't know all about them. I've sat in one. I've never driven one or ridden in one, but I've sat in one.
Right.
Yeah, dude, they're fucking clean.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They are clean cars. Now, if they had some kind of a buyback program for your car instead of shooting gas prices through the roof and food, how do they expect everybody to buy an electric car? People can't even afford to eat right now.
Well, I don't know if you've been to H-E-B recently, and for you people who don't know, H-E-B is is it Texas only?
I think so.
It's an awesome grocery store. But I was in there the other day, and they had bread was like $2 for $3. It's like, all right, cool, 2 per customer.
They were putting a limit on it?
There's a limit on a lot of things now. Here's another thing. Today I was cleaning my room, and I probably had like $6 in quarters. I didn't have shit else to do, so I was like, I'm going to go to the Coinstar. I went to H-E-B, I went to United, I went to Walmart, I went to the other Walmart, I went to the other United, and finally I made it to the small Walmart Supercenter, and there was only one place with Coinstar. The other one said that they were full and they weren't accepting coins, but we're in the middle of a coin shortage. How does that make sense? If we're in a coin shortage, why are the Coinstars shut down? All the Coinstars were shut down except for one in town.
I think there was...
That doesn't make sense.
Well, I talked to a lady at First Financial and asked her about it. First Financial Bank. And she goes, asked her about the coin shortage. She goes, well, the reason why that's happening is because all the businesses were shut down and we weren't getting all of our money, but people kept spending.
Right.
So I was like, well, that really doesn't explain it in full detail, but I don't think there's a coin shortage anymore. I think that, and now I talked to the guy at the liquor store yesterday, and he said, you wait. we're not feeling the effects of the shortages just yet. They said we were shut down for 2 years,
Right.
which shut down everything. Now everything's picking back up, but we haven't felt the full effect of it yet. And like he said, you just wait a couple of years from now. The prices through whiskey is going to go through the roof.
No one's noticed or talking about it, but they're starting to ration food items at the supermarkets.
Yeah, but we're doing so well. Go Team Biden.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm confident most people are financially comfortable. What? It's like a stand-up comedian every time he gets up there. And someone said on Twitter they were taking a poll, what is your favorite thing Biden has done? And I was like, well, he took a shit on himself next to the Pope. That was a good start.
Yeah.
Made me laugh. He's comical with his gaffes when he's almost falling asleep while he's talking.
Christ.
Wait a minute, man. What was I talking about? Yeah, exactly. Joe. They're scratching sniff stickers on every executive order now. Sniff it, test it, go. I mean, Jesus Christ. Now, in retrospect, they're not going to do anything about guns. Guns aren't going away. I hate to get you little leftist crocodile tears just flowing, but they're not going anywhere. Sorry to tell you this. They're not. If they go anywhere, they're going to the Ukraine to arm 18-year-olds. If they go anywhere.
Or in the hands of immigrants, which I don't know if they're not technically a citizen, do they document the violent statistics on immigrants?
They don't even report on it.
Exactly.
I don't know if they don't document it, but they don't report it.
They don't put it online or whatever.
No, they don't make it available to the public.
Yeah.
No, they do not want to do that. And then you know,
they're flooding. I mean, it's a 8-hour drive to Houston. And from Houston, it's probably, another 14, 15 hours to Mexico?
give or take.
I mean, they're flooding our borders, and no one's talking about that. And I don't know what that's going to bring in, but I certainly believe
Voters.
I certainly believe that they will have guns and drugs with them that will be killing people.
Or COVID.
Yeah, well,
let's not forget COVID. I mean,
a new strain.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about the monkeypox now.
I did see that. Yeah.
The NIH is actually investigating the Wuhan lab right now.
Really?
Yeah, they're investigating it because some papers leaked out about how they're working with the monkeypox virus right now to, I don't know. I think I sent you the video, the YouTube video. Yeah, the NIH is investigating the Wuhan lab. Now, that means if they find something, they're going to be held to do something about it. If you don't, then you're in on it.
Right.
I mean, point blank. I mean, you can't.
But what can we do to the Chinese government?
Well, we can make sure they don't come over here with our firearms.
Yeah.
I mean, go on, fall out of the sky. Just jump out of that plane. You got 330 million people in this country. Almost everybody's got at least one firearm, whether you're supposed to have one or not. And that's just registered firearms. We don't even know how many guns there are in the streets that aren't registered.
No, if you look hard enough, you can get one, and it's not hard.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly where I can go to get one if I want one. If I want to buy an AR-15 for $400, I know exactly where to go to get it.
Yeah. No paperwork.
No paperwork, no background check, none of that hassle that only makes it harder for law-abiding citizens, which are going to turn criminals overnight, by the way. When you sign that piece of paper and they say, okay, the ban goes into effect January 1st, guess what? Everybody who owns an AR-15 is now a criminal. So you may as well act like a criminal. Say, fuck it. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to get my money. You're not going to give me no $50 gas card when gas is $10 a gallon and I drive an F-250 fully loaded pickup truck. That's not going to give me a quarter tank of gas.
Right.
Hell, just starting the damn thing up. Suck up, I don't know, about $1 worth of gas?
Probably, yeah.
Good God. These people just don't think. But actually, I don't think it's them. I think they know. It's their supporters, really, that don't think because they have the most ridiculous talking points that anybody could disprove. You can wake me up from a drunken stupor and I could disprove half of what they say. But I've never tried that, but I'm pretty sure I could. I mean, when you just think about it rationally, everything they say is bullshit. One child is too many. I agree. How many kids died from a vaccine?